Hey, what's up everybody? This is Ryan Cox and Eric Odom at Augusta Jiu-Jitsu Academy. We're going to be working on some butterfly sweep techniques tonight. The first thing we're going to take a look at is a warm-up drill to get your body prepared to go into this butterfly sweep. There's a little bit of inversion involved, so it's always good to loosen up the back, loosen up the neck a little bit before you start going full blast. Then we're going to take a look at a really basic fundamental butterfly hook sweep. Okay, so for this butterfly sweep warm-up, it's a really good way to familiarize yourself with this guard position and get you warm at the same time. So the first thing we want to be thinking about is using the tops of your feet and your shins for these hooks. And these hooks are going to be right on the inside of your opponent's thighs, especially if your opponent's on their knees. That's really when this sweep is going to come into play. So from here, you would want to scoot in and get really close to your opponent. Okay, so this is like the first style warm-up you can do, is just kind of scooting close and then scooting away, right? So we could just kind of practice that to get the legs and the hips warmed up. Okay, and once you've gotten your scoot down, you're comfortable, you want to have your heels, pretty close to your groins here. So this butterfly kind of stretch that everybody knows from way back, right, is very similar to our butterfly position for jiu-jitsu. So I want to be thinking about using the tops of my feet and my shins for my hooks here. Another thing I want to think about is having my hands and arms up so that I can be ready to fight for an underhook or even an overhook. But I just want to be able to use my hands aggressively, okay, because when we get in tight, we get in close, the grips are going to be very important. So from here, we're just going to keep our elbows in tight. Thumbs are going to just kind of stay up close to our ears. We're going to rock to the left first and come up onto our shoulder. And it's really important that I really push off with my bottom leg so I extend fully. Now this top side leg may come all the way to the mat or it may not. And we're going to come back and going to do the same thing to the right. Lifting with that bottom side leg. And we're coming back, same position. You always want to kind of make sure you're coming back to square one when you're starting. So hands are up, good posture in your back. Something you want to think about when you're playing butterfly guard is not letting your opponent push you back on your back. And the way that you're going to prevent that is by keeping a little bit of forward lean posture here. So when you're playing your butterfly guard, you want to be leaning forward. That way you got your core and your abs protecting you and preventing you from getting pushed back. Okay, so again, we're just going to go through this a couple more times. To the left, boom, right back to start, then to the right. So getting started on this butterfly sweep, the butterfly position is really going to start when your opponent is on their knees and you're in this little butterfly position. Your feet are pretty close together and the tops of your feet are hooking on the inside of the thighs here. And this hook might happen anywhere from as far down to the knee all the way up to the groin. So this isn't really, like, a lot of times when you start a jiu-jitsu roll at your gym, you kind of slap hands and bump knuckles, and this is really close to where you're going to be starting from. But in a more competitive scenario, this butterfly guard's really going to come in, like, a lot of times off of your half guard, right? So maybe you're flattened out, and you're able to get your frames back and bridge, and your knee comes in, you extend, and you're sitting up. And now we're back into this butterfly situation where we have these hooks involved. And for this fundamental butterfly hook sweep, I really like to think about trying to rotate around my partner. So if Eric is the center of the circle, I'm just trying to do a circle around the center of the circle there. So the way that's going to work is I'm going to establish a grip. And I think the most solid fundamental way to establish your grip is to go with an underhook and trying to reach as far around the back as you can. If you can reach all the way to the opposite hip, that's really good. With the free hand, you're just going to kind of post behind you so that you can scoot yourself. And we're keeping our feet kind of close together, and we're trying to build a wall with this arm and this knee here. Okay, and typically what Eric is going to want to do is give chase, because if he doesn't give chase and he lets me keep going around, I'm going to get on top. So as he gives chase, when I scoot, right, I'm going to catch that arm, and now I'm going to lift as I fall to my shoulder. When I'm falling to my shoulder, I really want to try and stuff this arm between Eric's legs as much as I can. So from here, I stuff, I'm falling to my shoulder, I'm lifting, just like we did in the warm-up. I plant my bottom side leg so that I can get a lot of lift here, and then I'm rolling on top. And I can either take the mount from here, or I can cut my knee across and take a side control position. And that's going to be dictated really based on what your opponent gives you. So coming at the same sweep from a different angle, I'm starting in here. I'm going to try to fight for these underhooks and really think about getting your forward lean here. You want to come in, if you could put your head right in the chest, that's good. Try to keep a good posture here. And we're going to go for that underhook. And then right away on the opposite side from the underhook, you want to just be kind of fighting this inside position, really making sure that this person isn't able to flatten you back out. Then we're going to post behind so that we can kind of do like a beach shrimp and scoot to the outside. And then as soon as Eric goes to try to correct, we're going to catch right at the wrist, try stuffing this wrist between their legs as much as you can. And we're going to fall to the shoulder, getting as much lift as we can with this leg, and pushing off the bottom foot as much as we can. And then again, maybe we take mount, maybe we take side control.
Shake it!
So if you like this week's video, check out next week's video. We're going to be transitioning from butterfly guard into single leg X guard, and we're going to take a look at some of the details involved for that transition.